Hello and welcome to the Panelists, the delightfully droll panel show that asks hard-hitting questions like, do I have time to pee before we start the episode? I'm your host, Kathleen DeVere, and joining me this week are four geniuses with iron wills, curious demeanors, and large, sturdy bladders. As always, these pillars of the hypothetical question community are willing to endure mild to moderate discomfort in their quest to provide you, our gentle viewers, with the answers to some of today's most onerous questions. And joining us this week is Team Beige of Dragon Spear.
It's a kind of a sight gag.
It's a
visual pun.
because of the Baldur's Gate. It was
Pretty big kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's a thing. We did the
Not a sponsored stream, just
no.
You do look well hydrated, I'll give you that. And Team Opinions are like fingernails.
That is the name that Cameron said we were called.
I'm told this team has a bucket under the table in case of emergency.
Why?
Do I get to take it home with me? Is it like a free gift?
Oh no. Anyhow, I do have some good news for you. Good news! Ghosts are real and they're going to haunt you for a month as part of a work experience program. Now, you've been paired up with a very serious and dedicated ghost, so she is going to go all out on the fluids, destructive psychokinesis, random all hours moaning, and the jump scares, but she's also willing to work with you a bit. So she will either appear as a sexy mummy, which is just like a real mummy, like in the British Museum, but with also like a kickin' bod of whatever gender expression you're looking for, or some sort of horrifying giant hairy undead wasp demon. Team Opinions are like fingernails. How do you want your haunting?
Sexy mummy.
Damn it.
Damn.
I mean, at least when she, leaps out of the fridge door first thing in the morning when you're going, you reach for the fridge door and then the face appears, you shit yourself. At least you have the okay, cool.
Yeah.
Not,
Well, yeah, and when she appears in the shadows of, your home videos and your selfies, at least when you post that to Insta, you get, more likes, maybe. Because people are like, hey, you keep good company. And you're like, yeah, I do. All my plants are dead, and my animals hiss at me. But, at least everyone's hot.
I'm happy with the wasp demon.
Yes.
All right? Like giant wasp demon because, we're going to generate some buzz about it.
Absolutely.
I would rather be absolutely horrified. I'm terrible at multitasking. So
Right.
I don't want to be both terrified and aroused.
Yeah.
That's not something that I'm into.
Yeah, the fear boner is very hard to deal with.
Literally.
Yeah.
Since we're talking about getting aroused while the ghost is around, Cameron, what would you rather have? This is a month. What would you rather have watching you masturbate? A sexy mummy or a giant hairy demon wasp thing?
I'm going to have to go with the mummy, Graham.
Right? It's gonna be there. You're not jerking off for a month. It's gonna happen at some point.
Right.
It's probably gonna be as weird for the ghost as it is for you, but the giant multifaceted eyes just staring.
And maybe best case scenario, the mummy is just so grossed out and turns away. But because her eyes are all bandaged over and also, probably her ability to perceive her surroundings isn't great, she just winds up colliding with the door frame. And because her head is all hollowed out because she's a mummy, you get that awesome hollow coconut sound.
If she's gonna just come into our house and break our shit, it doesn't matter what she looks like. It's just an uninvited house guest that you wish you could get rid of.
That's absolutely true.
Now I'm starting to just feel depressed by the what might actually be entering our house.
A ghost.
It is pretty depressing. That person died.
The premise is that this is her work experience, but could this also be our work experience, that we are searching for a career as professional haunting victims? Because I feel that this is a skill set that I could get a lot of mileage out of. You're sitting across from the interviewer and they're like, what did you learn in your last placement? And I'm like, well, I apparently learned how to crank it while a ghost watched me.
You know what? We could put a positive spin on this.
Yeah.
Find work experience or no, we can find out what this ghost needs to do to resolve. just overwhelm it with kindness. We could turn this into doing something good that we know that would take us forward for the rest of our lives, would give us such positive karma. We ourselves would not end up a ghost. We would save them, and in turn, they would save us.
So you're talking about a way to fulfill whatever worldly desires that this wasp demon has.
Yep.
I'm on board for that idea.
100%.
Working against their work placement to actually help them move on with their lives and or move on with their end of their lives. Yeah, I think we're ready to do good things for the world.
I would agree with that.
What if their worldly desire was to become a very good ghost and to do well on their work placement?
Well, then...
They just disappear into nothingness, wouldn't they?
No, we would merely just have to step up to the plate and be the best victims that we could be.
Just scream and you know, maybe even
Shit
rattle our own
ourselves.
chains.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's good.
Absolutely. Is that a masturbating euphemism like they were talking about?
We seem to have focused on that an awful lot, so I'm willing to say yeah.
Okay, great. Awesome.
I'm not masturbating to the ghost.
I mean, you
I'm
could be
gonna-
masturbating away from the ghost. I don't really care how you do it.
This is not a situation where I'm going to have to be asking future sexual partners to please wrap yourself up in toilet paper before I can get off.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's the first step.
Yeah, who does that?
But you know, this is just going to be a constant concern you have while you're trying to kick a number 3 down the drain.
If you did it in the shower, you wouldn't have to worry about the mummy because it would be concerned about getting wet, and you know you would be safe, covered in like liquid.
It's still a ghost. It just looks like a mummy.
Yeah, but you would feel safe because you're like, but the mummy won't come in here because it'll know it'll get wet, even though it's a ghost. I am thinking it's a mummy. You'll think your way past it, 2 steps ahead of that ghost.
I think you've just thought ahead of yourself. I think the ghost has got no problem.
And once I'm that comfortable, I can jerk it wherever I want.
It's true. He's got the arrest record to prove it.
So what we've decided is that it doesn't matter how this ghost appears, someone's going to find a way to jerk off to it, which truly encapsulates all that is the internet. And for once I was keeping score. Jacob had 2 very good puns, so 2 points. But Graham, I'm giving you a point for bringing jerking it off into it in the first place, because I feel like that really set the direction. So after the first round, the score is 2-1, and it's anyone's game. Love 15. But
This is a place you're rewarded for puns?
Yeah.
You can't get rid of me now.
All right. We're going to set the high score.
Yeah, we are.
Just like some sort of sexy ghost.
You're damn right.
well, Jacob may be here forever, but good news! You have been offered a new job, meaning you don't have to endure my ridiculous hypothetical situations anymore.
Oh.
But you have a choice, because that's the format of this show. You can take up a position as a ranger on the UK's Farne Islands, where there is no running water, frequent storms will cut you off from supplies, and over 50,000 tourists a year will pass through. But while you're there, you'll spend your time counting puffins, maintaining a variety of crumbling historic sites, and enduring the questions of middle-aged German men. Alternately, you can become a solitude researcher in Antarctica's Concordia research station, where temperatures can dip to a chilly minus 80 degrees Celsius, but you will have 12 other coworkers to reenact the thing with. Team Gate.
Oh man, as appealing as both of these sound, I think that we should be a solitude researcher in Antarctica because I just recently watched an anime that had to deal with Antarctica, and so I did never watch an anime that had to deal with puffins. So I'm thinking that this is the way we need to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, Antarctica sounds way more interesting.
Yep. And you just watched an anime about it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Let's do it. Awesome.
I was just in a bar in Las Vegas whose gimmick was that it was -5 Fahrenheit, or roughly -20 degrees Celsius.
Oh, that sounds nice.
It was refreshing
I can imagine.
because the outside was 47 degrees Celsius. -80, on the other hand, I would rather put up with these
Puffin shit.
Yes, I would. Yes, I would rather put up with puffin shit and tourist shit and literal tourist shit.
No running water.
Having to explain to 50,000 tourists a year the concept of no running water would get tedious. But maybe we could make a sign that we could tap in multiple languages.
Yeah. And then just below that, a sign that says, "Don't make me tap the sign."
What sounds delicious about sharing a frigid bunker with 12 others in Antarctica?
They basically you all have to do what each other wants. So there's going to be a lot
Typically.
of consensus, I
True.
think. Yep.
Yep.
And when it comes down to it, I mean, if I need a partner to play canasta with, that someone's going to go for it because they're like, there's nothing else to do here.
Yeah. I mean, I could pretend I was May from Overwatch.
I could write my novel.
You could write your novel.
Yeah.
Will you?
No.
Probably.
I don't even have an idea for a novel, like when it comes down to it.
No, but you could brainstorm with those 12 other people about your novel.
We could write a novel or like maybe a series of poems or a TV series.
That's true.
And we'd never make it. No.
No.
But we'd be so into the idea until we got to go home.
Yeah.
That it would be it. I think that's where the fun comes in getting to spend time by yourself with 12 other people.
Yeah.
Speaking of a TV series, what, if any, knowledge from this anime you watched are you taking on board for this trip?
The process of getting to Antarctica, as you go through the different latitudes, you will get more and more seasick as you get closer and closer because the currents are rougher and rougher. So you end up vomiting so much on the way down that by the time you hit land, that's an improvement.
Wow, that sounds like a thrill a minute.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that there's an equilibrium being established there. But
Loss of
what a-
equilibrium, actually.
What a shame for us to be stuck just slightly off the coast of the UK.
yeah, counting puffins. I can't imagine anything worse than staring off into the middle distance of a gray ocean wearing an oiled wool sweater, drinking coffee out of a tin cup.
Oh yeah, misery us.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Just the worst.
Question for you.
Sure.
What's the worst season?
I would normally say winter, but for the sake of this bit, summer. You know
Absolutely.
why? That's when my birthday is. Let's keep going.
Oh.
Okay.
Well, you just had your birthday, and happy birthday.
Thank you.
What a joyous time. I would argue that your birthday itself is the season, and the actual temperature season that it takes place in summer is the goddamn worst.
I hate 27-degree days. It's awful.
Yep.
Yep.
Antarctica, winter all the friggin' time.
Yep. Even in summer, it's still winter.
Yep.
And when you have 23 hours of darkness, you get to see the aurora australis,
Yep.
which is gorgeous. And at about 23 hours a day, it's a constant laser light show that the heavens are putting on for you because why not? There's nothing else to do.
I was just thinking that as denizens of Victoria, British Columbia, 50,000 German tourists is not really intimidating.
No, that's like whenever a cruise ship rocks up.
Yeah, like we constantly deal with thousands of American tourists just ambling down the middle of streets, gawking at buildings, photographing banks. And I'm going to assume that any tourists who commit to the foreign islands are at least going to have a rough idea of what they're in for.
I would hope so, but
I mean, maybe it'll just be a lot of families with toddlers who are like, yeah, we're going to Puffin Rock, honey. We took you to Puffin Rock.
Do you want to go to Puffin Rock, or do you want to go see thousands of penguins?
Damn right.
Thousands of
Objectively
penguins.
better than puffins.
Absolutely. The penguins are the best puffins.
Yes.
Yes,
Superior puffins.
I would agree. The emperors of puffins.
Mega puffins.
puffins can in fact fly.
He's got us there.
That's true.
Yeah. Can they swim?
Yes.
Can they kill a leopard seal?
I don't think they have to.
You know what, Ken?
Penguins.
You're damn right.
I think we're discovering that there's a lot of parallels between these two postings.
Well, one of them you're sort of ruggedly outdoors, and the other one you're in a bunker with the farts of 12 other people.
And there's one guy who just won't stop listening to Stevie Wonder's Superstition.
But then eventually you start singing along.
You'd be the guy at the Concordia research station who would say, hey, does anyone want to watch the thing?
If you're at the Concordia research station and you don't know who the guy who wants to watch the thing is, you're the guy who wants to watch the thing.
I don't like scary things like wasp demons and the like. Can you jerk off to the thing?
I'm sure somebody has. Never say never.
Statistically speaking, if the thing showed up in the foreign islands, you wouldn't even be likely to get hit. It would probably just keep moving through puffins.
Yeah, until you had one omni-puffin.
Yeah.
And at that point, I mean, it really wouldn't be very scary for long.
No. I mean, either you'd die or you'd be like, oh, well, I know which one the thing is.
Yeah.
And then what?
Probably cast yourself into the sea at that point.
But the thing, all right, if we're going to battle the thing in our 2 locations. I don't know what kind of supplies you have with which to make all of the fire because, you know, there's no running water. You don't really have a whole lot of stuff. Like, we have pressurized things and pipes and whatnot. Like, we can just do what they did in the movie. Are you just gonna, like, start picking up baby puffins and being like, back, demon! Back! Away with ye!
Wait, you want to fight the thing?
That's really the only way to survive is to get it when it's young and nascent.
You want to survive the thing? I would just be like, hell yeah!
Dude, you got more issues than a comic book shop.
What am I going to do? I'm on the Farne Islands. I have a can opener.
I mean, he kind of made my point. For at least turn the thing on yourself, not the thing on yourself, and be like, hey, love me! Don't do that. I can see in your eyes you want to, is immediately as I said that thing, you were like, that is the thing I would do. Kill yourself first, before you offer yourself to the creature from the beyond.
Fundamentally, the thing is just a highly competitive way of rearranging your stuff.
If by stuff you mean all your insides,
Yeah, the way
yes.
the way you described it just sounded like a really lame episode of Trading Spaces.
Is that how you see
It's a
your
really
insides?
awesome episode of Trading Spaces, really.
Trust me, only the thing is evil enough to do the things that they do to people's houses on Trading Spaces.
Yeah, only this time they would be like, they put a dog skull for my liver. You'd be on the Farne Islands and you'd be talking to them afterwards. You would go into the booth and they'd be like, I have a puffin for a heart now. I have multiple puffins where my organs were.
Really, that's just where the puffins live, right here.
So what we've come down on is that everybody has a different plan for fighting the thing.
Or no plan.
I mean, that's still a different interpretation of the term plan.
True.
To not plan at all is to sort of make a plan to give up, which I think is Cameron's plan. And that you guys would be happy in your beautiful cold fart box. And that you guys would be happy looking rugged as a church crumbles behind you and you go, oh, I have to put that back together again. Piss. So, you know, I think in the end, everybody's gotten what they want, which is quite rare. So I'm going to give 3 points to Jacob and Beige, and I'm giving 3 points to you guys as well, because, like, I can really get behind this, like, rugged North Sea spray oiled sweater coffee plan until you realize that you've run out of coffee and you've run out of milk and you've run out of clean cups because you don't have any running water and you haven't showered in 19 days because the horrible storms are keeping the ships away. So what you're drinking is puffin blood out of a puffin.
It disturbed me how much Cam's eyes lit up at that.
So that's 3 points combined with your 1 point from earlier makes 4 points for Team Cameron and Graham, and 5 points for Team Beige and Jacob, who won this episode not on the strength of their arguments, but on the strength of Jacob's puns, which I think says something terrible about everybody here, but mostly me. So until next time, please tune in for more The Panelists.